Well, thank you everyone for coming out today here at the Heinz Menaker Senior Center to talk about our latest initiative and how the city is planning to spend the $24 million in American Rescue Plan funds that we have already received from the federal government. Last week, exactly a week ago, we announced an initiative to completely rebuild and reconstruct the city's 2 pools. And that was an initiative largely focused on the youth and on our families and on creating summer activities and jobs and opportunities. Today's focus is on our seniors. And to answer the question, why seniors? In part because it is our seniors that have been most affected by this COVID crisis and could most use our assistance as we begin to bounce back next year as a city and recover from what has been a truly difficult time. The majority of our seniors across the country, but especially here in Harrisburg, are living in poverty. They're living in a fixed income, which certainly does not exceed our limits for this program, which is $17,850 a year, which is generally defined as 30% of AMI and is certainly an impoverished income. I've had a chance to meet many of these seniors throughout the city again and again. I've been invited into their homes. I've seen the living conditions, and I know that this extra $300 a month that we're proposing will make a real difference. And it will also make a difference for many of our seniors that are living in intergenerational households. This is an opportunity to give them security. And with guaranteed income, the choice on how to spend that income rests with the individual. And this is something we believe very strongly in. So if a senior needs to be able to spend that money on food or transportation or rent, whatever the issue is, that choice lies with the senior. It's $300 a month per year, and it is available for all of our seniors in Harrisburg that are living below the poverty line. We estimate that number at about 3,000 individuals. One of the reasons we wanted to do this guaranteed income pilot for seniors is because we could help everyone. We looked at other guaranteed income pilot proposals, maybe single parents, households with multiple dependents. In each of those instances, we would have had to have had a lottery system. We would have had to have chosen winners and losers because we didn't have the resources available to help absolutely everyone. Here we can. It's very, very simple. If you're a senior, meaning 65 years or older, you've lived in the city of Harrisburg for the past 2 years, meaning you've been affected by the pandemic here in Harrisburg, and you have an income that doesn't exceed $17,850 a year, then you qualify for this program. Now, we're really excited to have the Housing Authority here with us today. Sengor Mance is on vacation, but we're joined by Otto, who has been our partner in so many things, because the Housing Authority already does this type of income verification for its own housing and is ready to be the sort of administrative wing of this program for the city. In addition, we are going to assist the Housing Authority with several initiatives. One is to help the Housing Authority purchase a senior shuttle, which is going to be able to be utilized by seniors to be able to get to the grocery store or go to certain civic engagement events like come down to Capona or come over here to the Heinz Menaker Senior Center. We're also giving the Housing Authority $1 million in this to assist with their affordable housing construction program, and they've got a number of projects in the pipeline, including one that's already been approved at Bethel Village, which is in need of a little bit of assistance to actually break ground. In addition to that, we are looking to establish at the city of Harrisburg a new senior advocate position, and this is key. That position will be in the Office of Economic Development, will be a designated individual who can work with the County Department of Aging or the State Department of Aging, who can take the call from Les Ford, who you'll hear from in just about a moment here at any time, to make sure that everything is coordinated and that there is an advocate for seniors, especially as we move forward in the years to come. And then finally, as part of this component, we needed to find a way to reinvigorate and rebuild the Heinz Menaker. As you see behind us, the Heinz Menaker has been closed since the beginning of COVID, does not have the resources to reopen, has even been hit by by a car and unable to even get the insurance company to cooperate at this point. There's $500,000 in this proposal for Heinz Menaker, which will allow Heinz Menaker to get back to doing what it does really well, which is providing a place for community connection for our seniors. And if you put all that together, the housing piece, the transportation piece, the advocacy piece, and the centerpiece, all of that becomes a sort of complete package for our seniors. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more, but I want to introduce Les Ford. Les has been a tireless advocate for our seniors for as long as I've known him. He's managed to do amazing things here at the center, even in incredibly difficult times. I've seen the Meals on Wheels program in action just in the past weeks, and he's making a difference. But he has been advocating for some time for the city to take a more direct and active role in the funding of this center, and that's what this proposal does. And I'd like him to speak to you a little bit about the issue of why seniors, because that is at the heart of this proposal here today. Les?
Thank you. I would like to thank the good people of Harrisburg. I would like to thank the city government, all aspects of it, city council, the mayor's office, the people working in the departments who actually are down here on the ground. I'm down here on the ground, so I have a gut level understanding of the impact of COVID on seniors over the last 2 years. But let me back up just a little bit. Prior to COVID, we were running on a wing and a prayer. This center has a proud history. As a matter of fact, where you all are standing right there used to be the old center. It was an old warehouse that was donated and became a senior center. The folklore is they were having an event one day, and one of the dignitaries was standing at the dais like this, standing at a podium, and the floor gave way, and that dignitary wound up going sort of into the next floor down below. So they figured they'd better do something. So in 1992, this center opened largely with the support of our municipal government again. That gives you some indication of how important it is to have a functioning municipal government relative to senior activities. So that's the history. We opened this building in '92. I came here a long time after that, but I have been here for 11 years as the director. Prior to that, I was on the board. I'm saying all that to say that I've had a gut level, up close and personal interaction with the seniors. I am at a gut level familiar with their issues, their problems, and I know the extent to which the COVID-19 has impacted their lives. So let me back up a little bit. One of my favorite authors is James Baldwin, whom I didn't understand when I was a young man in college, but now I understand. Now that I am of that age, I understand. And James Baldwin wrote a famous treatise called The Fire Next Time. It was based on an old Negro spiritual. The title was that God gave Noah a rainbow sign. The water's all gone, the fire next time. COVID-19 has been our fire this time. I don't know how close you got to that fire. I was very close to it. I got singed. Our seniors got singed. I want us to learn from that. The water's all gone. The fire is coming now. This fire is here, but I'm sure that there's another one behind it. So why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because we were in dire straits prior to the epidemic. That pushed us over the edge. This is the result of neglect. This is the result of underfunding. This is the result of the callousness of some of our own citizenry. We have to take precious funds to rebuild this, to fight with the insurance company. Resources, time is a resource. So we weren't prepared for that. We weren't prepared for COVID, but it hit us. So now I hope we as a city have learned a lesson about preparedness, about a conscientious allocation of funds across all segments of the population. So it's not over yet. The economic impact is still there, obviously. The social disruption is there in our faces, day in and day out. And yet I think we choose as a society to try to turn a blind eye. nationally, internationally, and locally. So I want to make sure that as we try this round of rebuilding, that we focus on our senior citizens who, by the way, have paid the price already. They've paid into Social Security. They've paid income taxes. They have helped to build this country, to make it strong. We still have people from the Korean War, and I think we've got a couple from World War II still around here. I've got a 94-year-old lady over in Spring Creek right now that is one of our members. We were instrumental in that placement because nobody else was there to do it. So when I ask the city, when I ask the state, when I ask the county for funding, it is to deal with an immediate and widespread issue, and we are here on the ground to deal with it, and we appreciate the proposal to provide direct funding. As the mayor said, I've been after this for years. The county provides some funding, but it is baseline. It helps us to keep the lights on, keep the heat, etc. Okay, but it provides very little programmatically. So that's what we're looking to do, to expand, to rebuild and expand, to heed that warning that COVID has given us, that we need to prepare, we need to be conscientious. So with that, I will close out just saying that I appreciate this. It is money that will be well spent. It will be a multiplier. And it will help us to deal with those who are the least of us, our senior citizens. A society is judged by the degree to which it addresses the issues and values its senior citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Les. Thanks for all that you do. I couldn't agree more, and I'm glad we're in the position with these American Rescue Funds to make a difference in this important way. Just as with the pools, we are announcing a couple ways that people can give us feedback. This is going to be part of the budget proposal, which the mayor presents to City Council at the end of November, so we've got about a month to get additional feedback. You're going to see these boards and a comment box in the lobby of many of the senior housing facilities here in the city. You'll see it at Morrison Towers, you'll see it at Jackson Lick, you might see it at Presbyterian Apartments. That's one way to comment. Another way to comment is to pick up the phone and call 311. We've got a team there that's ready to take those comments and to make sure that they're documented. And if so inclined, you can also take a survey. And we've got a survey online just like we have for the pools. And I just learned this morning that we had already over 140 respondents for the pool survey. So that is going very well in terms of our comment phase. So let us know what you think, why this is important. Advocate for it if you believe strongly in it, and we'll have that data when we propose it and begin the City Council process later in November. I also wanted to introduce and let speak our Economic Development Director, Mr. Otto Banks, who has been very instrumental in working with me to put this program together. Otto, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. Members of the community, thank you for joining us. Of course, the media, always happy to see you. And of course, Mayor, for your support, Oche, as well as Les, thank you for all the work that you've been doing in our community for so many years. But I really want to provide some context and background on the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. It was signed into law on March 11th, 2021, and provided $350 billion in additional funding for state and local governments. The city of Harrisburg, as you may or may not be aware, will receive $48 million in funding. The eligible uses of those funds include revenue replacement for the provision of government services to the extent of the reduction in revenue due to COVID-19, public health emergency, relative to revenues collected in the most recent fiscal year prior to the emergency. That's bullet one. Second, of course, is for COVID-19 expenditures or negative economic impacts of COVID-19, including assistance to small businesses, households, and hard-hit industries in economic recovery. And as you see, all these uses, the Guaranteed Income Program, the Affordable Senior Housing Construction, Heinz Medical Center, as well as the Senior Shuttle, are all permissible uses under the March 11th American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. But again, many are going to ask throughout the community, why are we investing so much money in our seniors? The reason why we're investing money in the seniors is simple. Some of you may or may not be aware that many of our seniors are forced to make the decision between medicine and food on the table. Many of them are forced to make the decision and/or choice on whether or not they're going to cover their home heating bills or provide, again, food for their grandchildren. See, in the city of Harrisburg, oftentimes many of our senior citizens are not just responsible for themselves, they look after grandchildren and great-grandchildren. We take care, we have it takes a village to raise a child mentality here in the city of Harrisburg. And it's very important for everyone to really understand how this money is going to be used. This is just not a giveaway. This is something that's much deserved, and for all intents and purposes, is really owed to very people who've dedicated so much of their lives to help build the city of Harrisburg. In closing, I'd like to share some statistics, which are also equally as important, that will serve as a clarion call as to why that we should use these resources for our seniors. 1, older women are more likely to live in poverty than men as a result of wage discrimination and having to take time out of the workforce for caregiving. Over half of Black and Hispanic seniors age 65 plus have incomes below 200% of the federal poverty line. And last but not least, this one really touches home. The 2.3 million older adults on supplemental Social Security income receive on average just $475 each month. And that comes from the Social Security Administration 2021. So just imagine being forced to live off of $475. So if there's anyone that says, oh, we should use the money for businesses, you know what? That's going to come. But right now, we have to take care of our most precious and valuable resource, not just our children, which the mayor has done with the pools, but again, this one focuses on our seniors. So, of course, I encourage all of you to fill out the questionnaire and to let not only the city of Harrisburg know, but the city council as well as the mayor know that you support this initiative to support our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Otto. Really appreciate that. Those are powerful statistics. And in closing, let me just say the city has received 24 million of the 48 million and won't receive the other 24 million till some point next year. And we also need to show that we have a plan and that we are investing the initial 24 million wisely. These two proposals together do that. We can begin the bidding process and get the construction of the pools underway, and we believe we can have the guaranteed income program up and running for seniors late spring, early summer. Just give us a couple months working with the Housing Authority to help market the program, make sure people understand it, make sure people are aware of it and get signed up for it. And then this can take people really from the summer of next year all the way into the summer of the following year. It's an entire year's worth of additional supplementary $300 payments that'll coincide with what we hope will be the city's larger recovery here from COVID. There will be other additional programs and much time to discuss the rest of the money that's coming to the city. I do think we will need money for our small businesses. There will be other initiatives, including supporting our first responders that are a part of it, but we wanted to begin with solid programming for our youth and our seniors. So thank you all for coming, and if the media has any questions, I am happy to take them.
Will this be part of your budget proposal regardless of what happens in the election?
Yes, and I will make the political comment that I believe in this, and I believe the mandate of the election will give us what we need to make sure that everyone is on board with this proposal.
So just to be clear, it's a year-long program for the guaranteed income.
Yes.
So I guess maybe you can just speak to, like, what do you expect to happen after a year of seniors receiving the payment, kind of using that for certain things and then that falling off after a year?
Yeah, well, one of the reasons we're calling it a pilot program is because we're going to collect the data and have the information on how it impacts people, and it's a possibility that the program could be extended. That can be part of the conversation for what we're going to do with the additional funds. The reason we chose the 1 year period was just the basic math that $300 a month for every senior in need that's over $10 million just in 1 year. We also feel that with the wraparound services, if you couple it with the affordable housing, with the connections that are being made, and the longer-term investment in Heinz Menaker, that there will be benefit in other opportunities for seniors that will come out of this. And but I believe that this commitment on the part of the city to our seniors is something which doesn't have to just be a year, but we do have an obligation of proving its merit and proving its worth, so we're going to start with this.
Mayor,
Yes.
do you have any indication how city council feels about this?
I've had preliminary discussions with some of them, and I believe that they are on board with the concept. I think much as they are with the pools as well. I think they need to take their time to do their due process and their evaluation, and that, as I say, will come in November. Part of why we're having an open comment period here for the next month is because it really is the budget process in Harrisburg whereby the mayor gets to put a proposal, a funding proposal before council. They will determine if those appropriations are acceptable, and they will have their own process for evaluating them. But if we can collect the data, if we can get the public behind this, and it can all come together, I think that'll be part of helping them make an informed decision on why this is important. And again, I want to stress, this is just a proposal for the initial half of the money that we already have in the bank, which I believe needs to hit the street as soon as possible to help people. But there's a lot of opportunity for additional programming and additional priorities for city council members. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming out, and please stick around if you have any additional questions for Mr. Ford, Oche, or Otto, or myself. Thank you. Yeah.